What's up, bro? Come meet to the laundromat, man. Let's go to the laundromat, bro. Before we go, yeah, they try to prop you up somewhere. You gotta make sure you don't fall. Dude, I fell in off a cliff. It was not cool. Like, it was like the worst experience I've ever had. Like, unironically, I don't think anything on earth could like top the amount of pain that I like went through. Even like emotionally, like, cause like while I was recovering, I was left at my grandma's house, okay, and like, you know, she didn't even have AC at the time, right? And on top of that, like, not only did she not have AC, but like, I mean, I just didn't have anybody there for me. Like, you know, my best friend was with the girl that, like, you know, wasn't the most terrible woman that I've ever known, but at the same time, like, she had problems, sort of, but not even really at the time. They're good, they're, like, going to parties and stuff, and they kind of just left me there. I was like, man, dude, I love my grandma, but, like, she does not love me anymore, by the way. Once I angered these cartels, especially with TS escorts, list crawler, to Backpage, bedpage.com. Oh yeah, my grandma was like, no puedo. Especially after I released that listo with El Chapo Guzman. I'm like, can you believe that? Epstein list. And I was like, hold on a second. Hang on. El Chapo? I was like, whoa, dude. It's crazy. Anyway. But yeah. I was just stuck in my grandma's house after I fell off a cliff, and like, yeah. It was around October, so I wanted to do something for Halloween, even though I wasn't even really going to have anything to do. I wasn't going to school. I didn't have any other friends besides my best friend. And it just sucks, man. I haven't done anything for a few Halloweens, and you know, I was gonna finish it off like with the last thing that I did with one of my best friends, like around like 17 or 18. But yeah, I kind of like didn't want to stop. I was like, man, Halloween's pretty fun, even for like people who are, you know, older than 19, 20, whatever. Man, it's fine now. Sorrow. When you're an Epstein list whistleblower. Also, I watched this video about fire aid, and if I'm not mistaken, I got one of those hashtags. I'm not going to really elaborate any further. Be on YouTube, get it? And yeah, they're talking about how they're only catering to like African Americans, to like non-blacks, to like Latinos and Hispanics. Now, I'm not hating on these people, especially after like what, you know, one of these guys did for me at this Taco Bell, whatever. I don't want to say too much because like I already know everybody's basically corporate spying me, especially like McDonald's. So I don't want like Taco Bell like really getting on my case, get like my case. Like I don't have a case right now, but like I could make a case, get it. But like yeah, he just helped me out, whatever. Okay. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm really not hating on anybody, especially from like foreign countries that are coming in here and they're just straight up doing crimes, all the way from Russia to like India and anywhere in between, right? Especially the Middle East, okay? Right? But like most especially India and especially China. Don't forget about China. And what I noticed real quick before I leave and we go to the laundromat, you know, is that they had like this concert, right, to raise money for people with fires, but they won't have any white people or non-white people, sort of. Excuse me. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, you know? I'm like, so crazy. And what I noticed is that in this video, right, this guy who's breaking the story, and everybody's in on it, even 211. I knew 211 was like on some bull crap. Especially to those people who just refuse it. They refuse to conform, not culturally appropriate, but culturally conform to wrongdoings that their culture or their peoples do. Okay? And I could go on and on about what the Latino and Hispanic community gets wrong or what they do wrong on purpose, but they're really the social engineering and everything, trust me, it gets complicated. Anyway, and then especially the African American and black community or non-black community, okay? And what I noticed is that most of these places, right, these resources, they're all African American to non-black to black owned. And then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? Whenever you go into a business, or if you notice the pattern on YouTube, no, this isn't just about like, especially just African Americans. This is like about like, not even just, you know, especially blacks, non-blacks too. Non-blacks. Is that it's not necessarily that they're trying to pull a race card or they're trying to like, you know, race play and like, you know, do all these things to get away with things. It's beyond that. It's like there's like a grand racial like conspiracy, and I believe that like blacks actually want to traffic the majority of America, not just whites, even like Mexicans, Latinos, really expensive, like, and especially if you traffic one, I don't even have to be cartel, I don't even have to be white or black, or especially Middle Easterner to East Asia or Asian, to know that once you traffic them, a Latina, you got a lot of money on your hands. Don't even get me started. Doesn't make it any better when they like being trafficked. Epstein, some of the black community, Indian community, white, non-white community, oh, especially the white community. Don't get me started about that one. Because then that deals into not the F word, you know, ish. I'm not going to get into that word, but like fantasy. It's their fantasy. So it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to judge them? Even if some people are trafficking them and they're committing crimes, like, what are you going to do? You're going to judge them? There's no point. Somebody's always going to back them up. If they get caught up with any crimes, they're probably going to get bailed out. Especially because, like, hello, either the clients themselves are going to bail out those girls that are being trafficked, or the pimp themselves. And then also, it's already bad enough on top of the fact that they work with the police, so, like, which is actually funny because, like, every time you go on these trafficking sites and you want to pay for a girl, or you want to pay for a trans girl, or you want to pay for a man, whatever, always says no law enforcement allowed, no law enforcement affiliation, no law enforcement. But then it's like, wait, what? But the cops basically know everything about everybody, and ironic enough, they want to stop certain people for no reason. Have you ever noticed that? Also, like, if some people are paying for these escorts and they're not doing the right things in front of a camera, for example, don't you think they're probably going to get stopped by the police? Because then if they get caught up just enough, they'll basically be Epsteined. You understand, right? You know what the best analogy to keep this very simple is? Eddie Murphy. Now, I know people are going to be like, what the heck? You talk so much about your own people, lands to Hispanics. You talk so much about these cartel, even though you're trying to buy trans escorts. You talk so much about the LGBT community, but yet you don't want to really come out of the closet. I'm like, no, that's wrong. And they'll be like, oh, well, you talk so much about, whites and non-white people. It seems like even if you don't kiss them up, you criticize them too. You seem pretty confusing. You seem like you don't even know what you want, this and that. You talk about these Asians and Middle Easterner and East Asian communities, but yet every time you're up in these hotels or these liquor stores or 7-Elevens or in these richer communities like San Gabriel, man, you sure don't act up with them. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I know, like, it's beyond there's going to be good apples. It's just, if there's somebody a good character, I'm not going to be rude to them just because of their race. It just makes no sense. And even then, I'm going to distinguish, especially putting out the Epstein list or, exposing these trafficking sites. I'm going to recognize who's actually spying on me and who isn't, especially whether they're Asian or white to non-white, or especially if they're Hispanic to Black, Middle Easterner, and anywhere in between. So shut up. So anyway, back to Eddie Murphy. I'm gonna keep this very short and simple because, dude, we gotta go laundromat, man. Also, this is really good evidence for not only Care Court to get the hell off my back, but also for Department of Healthcare Services and Department of Mental Health to get the fuck off me, and sure, I curse, maybe don't act unhinged, maybe don't act crazy, but maybe I act a little bit, uncordial or incordial. I like to make more words in the English dictionary, but somebody's a little bit afraid of that. Big man upstairs, Donald Trump. But I'm not going to get into that. We're going to focus on California or these traffickers. And I want to get back to this Eddie Murphy thing, okay? So real quick, this analogy for Eddie Murphy. Look up Eddie Murphy, 2 a.m., newsstand, trans sex worker. When I barely even looked into this thing, it was a very interesting rabbit hole. Because I was like, so trans escorts easiest to access, especially online, but yet the most conspiratorial because, you know, a lot of men, they just don't want to come out of the closet. I was like that too. And then, you know, even if they don't get caught with their trafficking by, you know, the police themselves, which Eddie Murphy did, or, you know, whatnot, then, you know, some powerful people are going to be, like, after him a little bit. You understand, right? Waymo, who paid for you? I want to get into that one. Also, get it? Oh, let's see. It's like, don't work with cartel, please. Especially because, like, a lot of people are not, like, keen to helping somebody that literally messed with trans escorts. Like, they're not gonna help them out. But anyway, so it starts from there, then it goes to adults, men and women alike, then it goes all the way up. Well, before it goes all the way up, then like preteens, young adults, then the children. Very simple. I'm not gonna get into that whole story, that whole Eddie Murphy like rabbit hole, especially like that worker. Life taken, deceased, rest in peace. Sincerely. Especially whether they're trans or not. I really don't discriminate. Anyway, get over here, dude. Let's go to the freaking laundromat. That's not really.